It is Yoda Monday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. Today, let's begin by sharing a recitation. Now, what I'm going to do is swap out the text because I'm adjusting its format, you see. Let's see here. There we go. On second thought, let's go back to button number 14. And see if I can't adjust the bottom edge. That'll go to supplement. And let's see here. Okay, hopefully that'll work. So let's center this horizontally. We'll go to transform and center horizontally. And I'm going to lock it down. And now I'm going to adjust the webcam. And lock that down. Almost. Okay, close enough for government work. Let's do copy and paste. All right, together let us relaxingly recite Buddha's one-stop shopping. How do we transcend stress's control over our choices, utterances, and deeds? The Buddha's Eightfold Path. Sorry, I must tend to something. I will be right back. And I'm back. Thank you for your patience. How do we transform our raw survival instincts from being our tyrant to merely being our tool? The Buddha's Eightfold Path. What about the Holy Grail of enlightenment itself? What if enlightenment was merely the mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path? But what is mastery? As little children, we found the tying of our shoes to be a daunting task. But after what seemed like a great amount of time and tears and repeat instructions, we finally got so good at tying those sneakers, that we could do so spontaneously, habitually, easily, and effectively. The same held true for potty training, dental hygiene, and even bicycle riding. Likewise, we could so master the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The seventh and eighth folds of the path are mindfulness as well as meditation. And when practiced correctly, they are the key to the remainder of the path. Mindfulness and meditation could be the engine that drives the cogs and the gears of the Buddha's metaphoric enlightenment machine. When practiced authentically, mindfulness and meditation could calm our amygdala, the seat of anxiety and aggression, and stimulate our anterior cingulate gyrus, the seat of empathy. This is why the late Tulku Thondup insisted that the highest love was not the result of focus or analysis, but rather the spontaneous and uncontrived byproduct of mere mindfulness and meditation. The significance of this cannot be overstated. For loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. The second fold's kind intention, the third fold's kind communication, the fourth fold's kind conduct, and the fifth fold's kind commerce. Persist in the consistent, enthusiastic, and correct practice of mindfulness and meditation. And we could find that our choices, utterances, and deeds could flow from the right or effortless effort of love's centered spontaneity, which is the sixth fold of the path. But what about the first fold, the view of realities, literal impermanence, and figurative emptiness that support letting go? We could sit in mindfulness and meditation and strive to see permanence, but find it we shall not. Instead, we'll be assailed with perceptions of sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, and scents, ever shifting in a manner ranging from the subtle to the jarring. The internal is no different. Mindfulness and meditation rub our face in the ever-changing nature of our emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings. Mindfulness and meditation are the keys that unlock our mastery of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. A mastery that he taught could be accomplished in as little as 7 years, 7 quarters, 7 months, 7 fortnights, 7 weeks, or as little as 7 days. This is why the Buddha taught mindfulness and meditation. So, what I'm going to do, quick like a bunny, before we turn our attention to our formal meditation practice, let us spend about 30 seconds on housekeeping. This is the Dzogchen Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I have harnessed my autistic special interests as well as my ADHD hyperfocus to spend about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that I could become your personal, nerdy, neurodivergent guide to nirvana. Welcome, my friends, to Meditate Like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. I tap now button 9 and quickly adjust the settings for the streaming software. And this brings us to the latest iteration of very easy meditation practice text, or sadhana, if you're nasty. Together. Whatever comes, may all beings notice, relax and flow. Whatever stays, may all beings notice, relax and flow. Whatever goes, may all beings notice, relax and flow. Upon the tip of our left little finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger, palms up in our lap. Excuse me. Let us review the mechanics of mindfulness. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we have evolved to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice mind's antics of perception. You know, sights, sounds, sensations, flavors, scents, and the like, including the full spectrum of human emotions, intentions, cognitions, recollection, and imaginings. What about meditation? Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we are wired to practice both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Sturgeon's law reminds us that 90% of everything sucks, that 90% of human institutions are stained, corrupted, if you will, with the traits of being rigid, fearful, superstitious, controlling, elitist, cryptic, competitive, and cruel. An example of this elitism is Buddhist art. that depicts the majority of Buddhas as sitting in the full lotus posture, whereas history teaches us that the oldest Buddhist statues depict the Buddha sitting not in the full lotus posture, but the quarter lotus posture, with one lower leg resting upon the second like a sandwich. Their turnout comes not from the knees, for they are merely hinge joints, but from the hips, because they are socket joints. This posture is never forced. We relax into it, letting time and gravity do their work over the span of 1 to 2 weeks. Sitting for as little as 5 minutes every 12 hours or so. The 7-point posture of Vairochana, as demonstrated by the statue at Kamakura, Japan, it can be overwhelming. Legs crossed, hands folded, vertical traction between one's tush and the back of one's head, shoulder blades open like a vulture spreading its wings, face pointed somewhat down, tip of tongue towards roof of mouth, and a smile, a gentle smile, originating from the corners of one's mouth, passing through one's cheek, and then perching upon the crow's feet of one's eye. That's a lot to juggle. However, the ancients have found that by pulling one's gut in and then up during one's inhalation, all the details of the 7-point posture fall into alignment. As our exhalation passes through our nostrils, we relax to our great relief. And like the pendulum of a grandfather clock, ponderously swinging from left to right and left and right, likewise with each inhalation and exhalation, we slide in and out of the 7-point posture. The most sustainable way to cooperate with the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems is as easy as silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during our gut-centered inhalation, and silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during our nostril-oriented exhalation. It's also the effortless way to practice what the Taoist masters refer to as the smaller circuit. Good morning, and welcome to the second quarter of our group practice. Perhaps you can hear the gardeners in the background with their leaf blowers. Upon the tip of our left ring finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, palms up in our lap. Let's take a moment to review the mechanics of mindfulness as well as meditation. Every time we inhale, thanks to our sympathetic nervous system, we are wired to vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly notice all manner of phenomena. From the external to the internal, from the physical to the mental, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the interesting to the boring, from the glorious to the grotesque. What do we do with that which we have noticed? Every time we exhale, thanks to our parasympathetic nervous system, we have the capacity to both physically relax as well as mentally release. Let us remember that the most ancient Buddhist statuary depicts not the full lotus posture, but the much easier to practice quarter lotus posture. The secret to effortlessly practicing the 7-point posture of Vairocana all boils down to sucking our gut in and up during each inhalation, as well, which in turn opens our scapula and pulls the back of our head up and away from the back of our tuchus. Don't worry, we get to physically relax as our breath leaves our nostrils during our exhalation. We've talked a lot about body mechanics, and we've talked about neuroscience. The key to easily cooperating with both our sympathetic as well as parasympathetic nervous systems all boils down to two things. Silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during our gut-oriented inhalation, and silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during our nostril-oriented exhalation. The moment you have a specific question about Buddhist recitation, Buddhist meditation, or Buddhist philosophy, do not hesitate to type your question in great detail in the chat window. Every time we relax into our exhalation, whatever dualities such as scorn or praise we might have noticed during our previous inhalation, could feel as if they were melting into the simplicity of just the interpersonal. Remember, the key to the 7-point posture of Aruchana is to suck our gut in and up as we inhale, and then to relax as best we can as we exhale through our nostrils. The key to cooperating with the sympathetic and parasympathetic facets of our autonomic nervous system is as simple as silently and mentally reciting the verb noticing during our gut-oriented inhalation, and then silently and mentally reciting the verb relaxing during our nostril-oriented exhalation. This might seem like I'm asking you to walk backwards while whistling Dixie, patting your head and rubbing your tummy. I assure you, after a week or so of practicing 5 minutes every 12 hours, this could feel like as comfortable as an old shoe. As we sit in meditation, we can notice all manner of emotion, from the pleasurable to the painful, from the glorious to the grotesque. Our job is neither to indulge nor repress, but to merely notice and relax. Welcome to the final quarter of this morning's practice. Upon the tip of our left index finger, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger, palms up in our lap. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever greed we might have noticed during our previous inhalation begin to feel a trifle like discerning wisdom. Remember, the task before us is to silently and mentally recite the verb noticing during our gut-oriented inhalation, and to silently and mentally recite the verb relaxing during our nostril-oriented exhalation. You have taken your first step into a much larger world. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 9.5 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.